Imagine, for a moment, a small stone thrown into a still pond. The immediate splash is loud and dramatic, sending out frantic, chaotic ripples in all directions. That splash is our reaction. But soon, the ripples fade and the pond returns to its calm, reflective state. That deep, still water is our true nature, our center of peace and power. The problem for so many of us is that we spend our lives being the splash, reacting to every stone thrown our way, instead of remembering we are the vast, deep water beneath. This is the profound truth at the heart of mastering our emotional world. The power of not reacting is not a passive surrender, but an active and formidable choice. It is the decision to reclaim authorship of your inner life. When you react instantly, with a sharp word, a defensive posture, an angry email, you effectively hand over the keys to your mental and emotional state to someone else. You have allowed an external event or a person's comment to dictate your inner weather. In that moment, you become astonishingly easy to manipulate. Anyone who knows your triggers can orchestrate your anger, your sadness, your frustration. They can steal your peace, drain your energy, and leave you feeling powerless. But when you insert a pause, you break that chain. You declare, silently and powerfully, that your peace is not for sale and your energy is not theirs to take. You move from being a puppet to being the puppeteer of your own experience. Consider the heavy, lingering cost of our unchecked reactions, regret. How many relationships bear the subtle cracks from words spoken too hastily? How many opportunities were lost because pride dictated a foolish, immediate response? The reaction happens in a flash of heat, a surge of adrenaline that feels like righteous energy. But what follows is often a slow, cold ache of shame, guilt, or embarrassment. We lie awake replaying the scene, wishing for a time machine. That impulsive action, which felt so necessary in the moment, often damages the very things we value most: trust, connection, and our own self-respect. The reaction is a temporary explosion. The regret is the permanent scar it leaves on the landscape of our lives. So, what is the alternative? It begins with recognizing the immense, often underestimated, strength of silence. In a culture that prizes quick wit and rapid retort, choosing silence can feel like weakness. It is, in fact, the opposite. A deliberate, composed silence is a superpower. It is a force field of dignity. When you refuse to engage in a heated exchange, when you simply listen without immediately formulating your defense, you accomplish several things at once. You give yourself the crucial time to understand what is really being said and what is meant. You allow the other person's emotional storm to blow itself out against your calm. Most importantly, you demonstrate that your value and stability are not contingent upon their approval or their provocations. This kind of quiet composure makes you untouchable to chaos. Cultivating this composure requires becoming a fierce guardian of your personal energy. We live in a world that constantly demands our attention, our outrage, and our engagement. Not every battle is yours to fight. Not every criticism deserves a counterargument. The emotionally reactive person is like a knight in armor, rushing to confront every perceived slight, exhausting themselves on trivial skirmishes. The person who has mastered the pause is the general in the command tent, looking at the map and asking, "Is this hill truly worth dying for?" They understand that most provocations are mere distractions. By consciously choosing where to invest your emotional and mental resources, you protect your vitality for the pursuits and people that genuinely nourish your soul and advance your purpose. Disengaging is not losing, it is strategic energy management. From this protected energy arises the ultimate advantage: calmness. In any conflict, negotiation, or stressful situation, the person who remains calm holds the decisive power. Calmness is not the absence of feeling, it is the mastery of it. It creates a space for logic, creativity, and empathy to operate. While others are drowning in their reactions, the calm individual has access to clear thought. They can see the chessboard while everyone else is fixated on a single piece. This clarity leads to better decisions, fosters stronger relationships built on trust rather than drama, and projects a leadership that others instinctively want to follow. The one who stays calm doesn't win by shouting louder. They win by thinking clearer. To make this shift, we must understand the fundamental difference between a reaction and a response. A reaction is automatic, unconscious, and rooted in the past. It is a habit, a neural pathway worn deep by repetition, often stemming from old wounds, insecurities, or learned defenses. When you react, you are not acting in the present moment. You are replaying an old script. A response, however, is conscious, considered, and crafted in the present. It comes from a place of choice and awareness. Moving from reaction to response is the work of rewiring yourself. It starts with a simple, tactical tool, the intentional pause. Create a rule for yourself, 5 seconds, 3 deep breaths, a slow count to 10. This tiny space is the battlefield where your freedom is won. In that pause, you separate the stimulus from your action. You allow the initial wave of emotion to peak and begin to recede so that your wiser self can step forward and speak. Ultimately, this entire practice is a profound confrontation with the ego. The ego is the architect of nearly all our suffering. It is the voice that insists, I must be right. How dare they? I'll show them. The ego equates silence with defeat and forgiveness with weakness. It fuels our reactions because its very existence depends on being defended, validated, and superior. Choosing not to react is, therefore, an act of ego dissolution. It is saying to that insecure part of yourself, I see your fear, but we will not be governed by it. Letting go of the ego's need to win every argument or have the last word is not a loss of self. It is the discovery of a much deeper, more tranquil self. It is trading the brittle armor of pride for the unshakable freedom of inner peace. This, then, is the path. It is a daily, moment-by-moment practice of emotional detachment, not from caring deeply, but from being controlled by those feelings. It is about becoming the observer of your own mind, watching thoughts and emotions arise without immediately jumping onto their train. Start with the small stones. When the waiter gets your order wrong, when a colleague sends a terse email, when a stranger is rude in traffic, practice the pause. Choose a breath over a complaint. Choose a private smile over a public retort. Each time you do, you strengthen the muscle of your inner witness. You are not building a wall to keep life out. You are cultivating a deep, resilient center that life cannot rattle. You are moving from a life of chaotic, exhausting splashes to one of profound, powerful, and peaceful depth. This is the quiet confidence that changes everything. This is your unshakable freedom.